Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
So, here we are. We are your geeky gentlemen, and we are here to do two things. We are here to chew bubblegum and review They Live. And we're all out of bubblegum.
Wait, you're out of bubblegum? I thought I was the only one out of bubblegum.
No, I'm out of bubblegum too. Isn't that weird?
Shit!
What is the world coming to without bubblegum? No, so, yeah. So, I'm here with Sid Part 2, for now.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Because I might just leave, and it would just be Bill.
And it'll still be on your channel. No, what I meant by that was Milan is not here currently, though there is a small chance he might pop on later, which will be awkward, but we're used to that with him on this show, so...
Not the first time he's done it.
No, yeah, we'll run with it if it happens, but for now, it's just going to be me and Ian. And,
Ian and I, Bill. Ian and I.
Fuck you, no.
It's a little bit.
Don't fucking correct my grammar. I got a thing for that. No. So it was my choice for topic this week, and this week is a review topic. So I decided to choose for us to review the 1988 kind of sort of underrated, kind of sort of cult film directed by John Carpenter, They Live, which is a science fiction kind of sort of horror movie, but mostly science fiction. There's horror elements about it, but it mostly dwells in the realm of science fiction. Now, before we get into the movie, Ian, if you don't mind, I kind of like to tell kind of why I wanted to do this movie and why I watched it recently again.
Go ahead.
Because it has been like, the last time I remember watching this movie was with my mom when I was maybe 9 years old. And even then, it's like...
This is not an okay movie for a 9-year-old to watch. Your mother is terribly irresponsible.
Dude, you have no idea, no.
She just drank when I just came home and she was on the couch drinking, and... That's not okay to joke about at all.
Someone who showed me Tremors and I was like 5, so...
Jesus.
Yeah, so I was desensitized, but yeah. So anyway, I saw this movie when I was roughly around that age, and it was cool. It stuck in my mind for a little while. I don't have powerful memories of it like I do for King Kong vs. Godzilla, but I do have vague memories of watching it for the first time. However, it escaped my eye and my mind for many, many years. Until recently. Ian, I don't know if you've heard of this web series called Welcome to the Basement.
No.
It's by a quite popular YouTube channel called Blame Society Productions. They're the ones who do Chad Vader, Beer and Board Games, all those.
Yes, I have seen Chad Vader. I stopped watching after like season 2 because it got so boring, and I only cared for their How videos with Hal. Otherwise,
yeah,
just how do you get a lady? Well, you get a box and a stick that'll make the box collapse, and you put some food inside the box, and you leave the box outside in the public area, and you put a piece of meat inside the box, and then when a lady comes in to get the meat, you pull the stick out. Now, I don't know why you'd want to catch a lady, because they tend to scream a lot once you do this.
Yeah, they're very, very funny. And while most of their videos are primarily comedy videos, they do some serious, kind of videos. Not often, but when they do, they do. And one of those series is Welcome to the Basement. Welcome to the Basement is just a film review series. And they did an episode where they were talking about a movie that had been remade. And they spend the first couple minutes talking about movie remakes. And one of them, whose name is Craig, one of the two guys who does the show, Matt and Craig was talking about a movie he thought should be remade, and it was a movie called They Live. Now, I didn't remember that title from that movie. I had vague memories of. I just remember the premise of sunglasses that showed you monsters. That's all I remembered. And when he showed this movie, I didn't know what exactly it was about until he mentioned the sunglasses. I was like, that movie? I remember loving that movie. So when he mentioned it and said that he didn't think it was that good, and that he said that it was a great prime movie for being remade, like it should be without a doubt, I was like, let's see. And I found it on YouTube for free. Luckily, there's a lot of cuts of it on YouTube, so very easy to find. And I watched it again, and I found myself agreeing. Now, I did a video about this. I did like a parody video of, like a parody review. Like, it wasn't a serious, like, analysis, but it was kind of just me in character reviewing the movie as if it was a documentary. And it was kind of a joke on Craig's criticizing the film. But in all honesty, now that we're doing a serious video, and I can't believe I'm calling Geeky Gentleman a serious video, but
Come on, dude, I've talked about life and morality on this show. I find it serious. It just happens to be in a joking atmosphere, in a friendly, accepting environment. Come on now.
Yeah, but Ian, then we have Milan, so.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there are things worth being said on this show.
No, okay, I completely agree. I think that this is an intellectually stimulating show. Why not? Stimulating. No.
Yeah, see what I did there? I completely contradicted my own point.
That's what we do on the show, Ian. No. That and we make fart jokes. So.
When have we made fart jokes?
Oh, because Milan's here, so you make fart jokes. No.
I don't remember a single fart joke.
I'm kidding.
There have been plenty of dick jokes, but no fart jokes.
That's what I meant to say. I was like, fart is a funnier word to put in there. So whatever.
Sorry, I've railed you.
It really did. So I figured that it would be a good venue to get out my serious opinions on this film, because actually I completely agree with Craig from Welcome to the Basement. So I figured I'd bring Ian and Milan in on this. Not that Milan is here, but whatever. As Ian pointed out earlier, I don't think we were recording. He doesn't add much to the show anyway, so take that as you will. No, but Ian.
He's not even here and you have to insult.
It's kind of the main linchpin of this show now, is ripping on Milan. No. So Ian, when you were watching the movie, what were kind of your initial gut reactions? Did you find yourself enjoying it? Were you kind of like, oh, I do like it, but these things are bugging me, or did you completely hate it? Like, what were your general opinions of They Live?
Well, like my overall, like, here's what I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna start doing this. My Twitter review. Like, if I had to post a review on Twitter, my Twitter review is They Live kind of forgets what it is, or can't decide what it's trying to do periodically throughout the movie. It has like mood swings. They Live can't decide what it wants to do, and has mood swings throughout the film. Because at times it's this, what was this, 80 or 90?
This was 88.
Okay, at times it's this 80s action movie, at other times it's a horror movie, at other times it's this intellectual social commentary, and then other times it's just silly.
Yeah.
And then for a while there it's a Rocky movie.
I was gonna bring that up. A fucking 9-minute scene, and the whole point of it is just to get Keith David to wear the sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean, it's got these interesting moments, and then it's like it doesn't know what it's trying to do.
Yep.
It's like they've been changing directors. All right, here's what I think happened. And I'm not serious, but I think this happened. I think that they got like one guy to direct half of this movie, and then they got another guy to direct the other half of this movie. And what's going on is the guy that's directing one half of this movie, he's directing all the scenes where he's not wearing the sunglasses. And the other guy is directing all the scenes where he is wearing sunglasses. And that
seems accurate.
Right? Because it's just like, it's like they got two writers to do it too. It's like it's such a stark contrast of what's going on here.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm totally with you. This movie, and I'm going to say it like this. Every time this movie gives me something to love, it gives me something to go, that doesn't really work. I don't want to say hate, because there's never really a point in this movie where I'm like, oh my god, this is awful. It's more or less just, this doesn't really work. I mean, in the context of what I think it's trying to do. Because at the beginning of the movie, it really comes off as this very, just very, very earnest sort of social commentary science fiction film. And it doesn't really, from the way the movie opens, you don't feel like it's going to be this over-the-top 80s, like, freaking Running Man-esque action movie. And it totally turns into that right after he puts the sunglasses on. So I think your theory is probably true. Well, no, John Carpenter directed all of it, but it seems accurate. Anyway.
Well,
so, yeah,
let me ask you this. Did more than one person work on the script? Were there, like, multiple drafts of the script?
I'm not sure.
It feels like the studio really liked the idea, it feels like the studio wanted to make a John Carpenter movie because he's obviously got, the name John Carpenter. So
yeah, it's always John Carpenter's blank blank. The Thing, They Live, Halloween.
And I think what happened, seriously though, is that the studio was like, okay, we like that you want to make a movie with us, but we want you to do action because action is in right now because it's the 80s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's a completely accurate, impersonation of a Hollywood executive.
Oh no,
all I need is some tits to do coke off of.
And a cigar.
And a cigar.
And you're doing all three at once, so it's fucking weird. No. Yeah, I'm totally with you. And again, not to say that this movie has points where I don't know about you, but I was never watching this movie going, wow, I wish I was watching something else right now because this is horrible. It was more of just like,
here's the thing. There are parts that are really good, and then there are parts that are very bland.
That's an apt description, I think. Yeah, because I'm totally with you. And I think the blandest parts of the movie are the parts where it's trying to be a goddamn action movie. That bank scene and everything following it, despite having one of the greatest lines uttered in all of cinema, is really, it really feels disconnected from the entire movie because it's so over the top. And it doesn't make any goddamn sense because this guy is a drifter. With no background, no name even. He doesn't get a name until the ending credits. And it's just like...
You know what?
What?
I almost feel like that line, John Carpenter just had that line in his head for years and wanted to find a place to use it.
Yep.
It's like, well, fuck it, we need an action scene and I almost feel like it's maybe a meta commentary at a certain point because he's like, I know these scenes are completely superfluous and absolutely ridiculous, so I'm just going to acknowledge that by giving him, ridiculous catchphrase. Like, that's the thing, is you could replace what he says there with any action movie catchphrase, and it pretty much works. It makes no difference, because guess what? Catchphrases have nothing to do with the scenes, ever.
Well, it depends, but in this case, no. And I thought that when I was watching, because I'm like, that sounds really fucking iconic, but it's so out of place in this goddamn movie. Because it's like he walks in, he's just realized that the entire world is a lie. Like, every single...
It's got that nice existential crisis, which I really like. The one that I hate that they never brought back from all the things he's seen with the glasses was, "This is your God," when the guy was holding the money.
That's one of my favorites, too.
Again, they only showed it once. I was like, oh, that's disappointing, because that means some people missed it.
Yeah, that's true. But that was probably, I want to say that's my favorite part, but it's one of my favorites because it's always pretty cleverly implemented. All the stuff that they do with the sunglasses is for the most part really cool. One of them is that whenever he's looking through the sunglasses, everything is in black and white. Which I think that's stripping away the layers of the advertisement of the social media, of just everything that the aliens or interdimensional beings are having you believe.
Mm-hmm.
It strips it down to its bare bone essentials.
Yeah, I also think that there's I can't remember the name for it in German, but there's a German word very much like Schadenfreude.
Mm-hmm.
Which Schadenfreude means that you enjoy seeing other people in pain.
Right.
It's that feeling you get when you enjoy seeing people in pain. There's another word that's very much in that same kind of vein, where it means it's truth and lies, and it translates directly to, though, like its literal translation is black and white. And
Right.
I think that's very present here because we do have that feeling that black and white is for some reason more real than color sometimes.
Yeah, because it's not masked. It's just the dead honest truth of what it is. The dark is bad, the white is good. Not that that's really differentiated here, but it's still present.
Yeah,
That is the bare bones truth.
It's so ingrained in your mind that they don't need to say anything about it. It's just in black and white because that's how things are.
Right.
Just interesting. But go on. You were saying something. Let's get back to what you were saying about him walking into the bank, though.
Yeah, but I was just saying that after that scene, the movie goes in an entirely different direction because that first scene where he puts on those sunglasses is really cool, really well done, clever, really shocking for him and the audience because there's no music. I feel like music would ruin that scene. It's dead quiet, and the actor is not the greatest in the world.
Yeah, but he does a pretty good job there.
He still conveys the shock and awe of realizing this. The problem is that after that, it doesn't really resonate in the way that it should after that point. He goes off and he starts shooting these goddamn things like he's freaking Hudson and Aliens. And that's not the way it should be, because it's not just like he's realizing that aliens are real. That would not, I would buy this guy having that reaction to that truth. But this is not just that. It's a much more scary thought that aliens not only control us, but have been controlling us for God knows how long. Every aspect of our society is controlled by them. And at first, he seems to realize the scope of this, and it terrifies him with that shell shock scene. But after that, it's just like, I can solve the problem by shooting it. And
well, the thing that really bugged me, it's before that scene that it kills it for me. When he just starts making fun of how ugly he thinks the aliens are.
Yep, I'm with you.
It's, the like I said, I like the bank scene just because it's hilarious.
It's just that one line, man.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck happens in the bank scene because I just spend that entire time laughing.
He literally walks in, he shoots one of the aliens, and walks out. That is what happens in that scene.
No, he shoots more than one, but...
Well, it's the cop, and then he sees that other... No, okay, so he shoots like 4 or 5. But then it ends with him seeing that one who's, like, talking in the wristwatch, and then it teleports away.
Yeah, I like that scene because it's just hilarious. But the one that kills it for me is when he goes into the grocery store and he starts making fun of the woman that's an alien for how she looks. And then he walks out of the grocery store after realizing that, yeah, they're kind of after me now. And he sees another woman and decides to make fun of her.
Yep.
So it's like there's a whole page of the script missing.
Yeah, I could see that, but it's more of just like, it's more like, okay, let's say, because I know John Carpenter co-wrote it. I don't know how much of it he actually physically sat at a typewriter and worked out, but I know that he was behind parts of the script. So it's almost, okay, let's pretend this. Let's say John Carpenter wrote up to the scene where he enters the grocery store and makes fun of that first woman. Or no, even before that. Let's say he stops immediately after he sees that guy enter the car. You know, that one rich, gray-haired...
I got you.
That guy. Let's say he stopped right then, went off to go take a piss. And one of his co-writers was like, okay, John, I'll take up the script from here. Then started writing and was like, okay, I have a totally different viewpoint on the world. How would I look at this? And also I've been writing action movies, so it's like, I'm going to write it like this, and then it just turns into this whole different thing. And it's like that for most of the rest of the movie. Like,
yeah, there's parts where it goes back a little bit, but...
Very few and far between. Very few and far between.
Let me put it this way. I want to see someone edit this movie so that we still get the bubblegum scene, but then it just skips like 30 minutes ahead to...
Cut out that girl.
What?
Cut out that girl, too, because she's totally pointless.
Well, she's kind of needed for the end, though.
Not really. What is she doing?
Without her at the end, you don't have, like, the reason he doesn't have the sidekick anymore. Like, she's necessary.
Don't really explain that.
No, what I'm saying is she's necessary because she's in the end. She's not necessary to the story, but because she's there, you can't edit her story out.
Right. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, true.
It'd just be like, who the fuck's this random redheaded woman if you didn't have her in the movie earlier? That being said, no, just after he shoots up the bank, just skip ahead to him joining the resistance, and then skip ahead like another 5-10 minutes to him blowing up the satellite, and then cut out.
Well, you still need Keith David, so.
No, you don't.
Well, yeah, but it's Keith David, and he's awesome. Okay, Ian, we have to talk about this. That fucking alley scene where they beat the shit out of each other.
It's a great fight scene.
It is awesome. It is a really great fist fight, really naturally looking two construction workers beating the shit out of each other kind of scene.
But it makes no sense.
It is so over the top just because all he wants them to do is put on sunglasses.
Well, no, like, here's the thing. He didn't even have to start fighting him. He's like, here's how the scene goes. The guy goes and throws him the money, says, alright, now stay out of my life. And then he's like, starts fighting him to put on the sunglasses. No, all you have to do is go, alright, I'll stay out of your life. But first, just to guarantee I stay out of your life forever, put on these sunglasses real quick. Set him down, back away a couple feet so he knows you're not going to try anything crazy. And then this whole thing is done.
Yep.
The rest of the movie progresses in the exact same way.
Yep.
Except that they don't have to limp home.
Well, yes, and that is also a really great sequence of shots where they're both, like, so in pain.
Because they just spent the last 10 minutes beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Was it legit 9 minutes, Bill?
It was, I actually timed it before we started recording because I actually knew we were going to bring it up. So I was just like, I better time this because I know Ian's going to bring it up. It's 9 minutes.
It is so awkward. It's just like this. That's the biggest problem with this movie, is it has such an awkward pacing.
Yep. And awkward pacing, and also just overall awkward tone, because at some points it really engrosses the audience in this really fucked up world where, as I read a quote online, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The total removal of the middle class. There's
a quote that I can never remember who said these things, but the only it went something along the lines of, the only group in this country that think more about money than the poor are the rich.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I think, what happens in this movie. You know, they're just so destitute. They're living in a fucking Hoover town, basically.
Right.
At the beginning of this. And that's another part of the social commentary here that just kind of gets forgotten about, is here we have this homeless man that is, you know, the champion of the working class.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's going to take on the affluent and the well-to-do, the well-off, and aliens too, because metaphor. And
well, more allegory, but yeah.
Just because. That's my new thing now. I'm just gonna start saying, because metaphor.
Oh yeah, because it's in the come and see thing, yeah.
Yeah. She's dancing on a suitcase because metaphor. Like, they're trying to do something there. I don't know what it is.
Right.
Because the whole thing's just so convoluted and weird. But he's got this, you know, social justice, yada yada yada, and then they just forget about it. It's just like it. After the 30-minute mark, it plays no part in this movie whatsoever.
Right.
No. And that's the other thing. I should mention how I watched this. I'd fully intended to watch it all last night, but I was just really tired because I got up at, like, you know, 7:30, and I spent a lot of the day hanging out with the Jew, filming some stuff. Mini-sode coming in a couple weeks with he and I, and it's just, I think I'm going to start doing camera episodes with the Jew in his house because props. Anyway. Anyway, no, I was just exhausted, so I watched, and it was like it was about 1 o'clock in the morning before I started watching it. And I'm sitting there in my bed, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to finish this. But I'm watching it. I got about half an hour through. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. I'm going to save the rest for tomorrow morning so that I can make sure I don't miss any of these interesting things that the director's doing. And I didn't.
Because then,
There's
action movie.
It's like, you know what needs to happen? Is just like, it needs to start cutting in with the theme from RoboCop after that.
Yeah, this movie, and that actually brings me to another point. This movie has a really good score. It's all these sometimes they're very subtle guitar riffs, other times
It's very
they're...
bluesy.
What was that?
It's very blues.
It is very, very bluesy, and I think that works for it because it's this very downtrodden society, and I feel like the music complements that. I love the, it's called Coming to LA, that quiet guitar music that plays when Nada is entering LA for the first time.
Is
It's
that
just...
his name? Nada?
Yeah, they don't name him in the movie, but it's in the...
No, that's why he doesn't have a name. It's because his name is Nada.
Yeah, because it's in the
It's
credits. Interesting little... Because metaphor, no,
You don't come up with your own thing. Don't just copy me.
no, I'm making fun of your thing, so...
No.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
That and I just... oh, what's the other part in this? Oh, yes, and now we have these contacts that you can use. Oh, no! A plot contrivance!
Yep.
Because
Come on.
the actor didn't feel like wearing sunglasses? I don't know. It was
they-
so useless. There's no reason to have him start wearing contacts.
No, well,
whatsoever.
It's easier to fucking shoot because now you don't have to worry about, like, oh, sunglasses in the way when we're firing blanks. But they kind of try to make a plot reason for it. I'm not saying it works because it, too, is totally, like, they don't really bring it up that much.
No, actually, it works better when the sunglasses cause, the headaches. Because
that's
then you actually have commentary there. That seeing the truth hurts.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's not easy to just look behind the hidden layer. And they try to, like, oh, the contact lenses have a better resistance to the headaches, but it's like, yeah, it really is just kind of a stupid. And who made these things? They just kind of pull them out of a box and are like contact lenses that can fight the aliens.
No, I didn't like it because you lose that cool visual to it too with the
Yeah.
Ray-Ban looking sunglasses.
Right, because
It loses some of the icons of it. Like, let me look up real quick. Move on to something else. I'm just gonna look up the movie poster.
Yeah, and you'll see it's really fucking cool because it has those sunglasses.
Oh, does it?
So here's
Yeah, so you lose the icon of it halfway through the movie. It's like if RoboCop just stopped being a cyborg halfway through the movie.
was just a couple pounds of meat rolling around chasing people.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm seeing.
End of the line, creep. Blah. Oh. Blah.
So, and I keep bringing up RoboCop because I think that is like the closest thing to this. But RoboCop, it doesn't forget what it's doing halfway through the movie, and
It turns into something. Well, RoboCop doesn't. Yeah.
yeah, RoboCop doesn't forget what it's doing. It knows what it's doing throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
So that's good. But
Yeah, and it's funny because this and RoboCop are kind of trying to do similar things.
yeah, they're talking about the affluent versus the downtrodden,
Right.
and other big words. And I'm trying to get
They live.
catchphrases.
They're nothing but big words.
No, see, that's what I'm doing. I really did consider, like, just starting to make up words and seeing if anyone calls me on it, because I realize I have the biggest vocabulary in this show.
Fair enough, but yeah, I just feel like Ian, affluescence is not a word.
No, affluent.
I know, but you're just like affluescence.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about saying, like, it's like this gobbly look. It's like, no, it's gotta sound real, though. It's gotta sound real. It's like
Sounds like you
this
just started
tech,
speaking, like-
it's like this texicalactic thing. Just what? Texicalactic. You've heard of that, right? Don't make me explain it. Come on, you're gonna look dumb if I have to
I
explain
don't
it.
want to make fun of people who suffer from this, but it kind of sounds like you're having a stroke.
Sorry. It's hard to make up words that actually sound real without writing them
That doesn't
down.
sound real. It
Yeah, I
sounds.
know, that's why I
fucked
know
up.
it doesn't sound real, but I'm trying to think of things that will sound real. And it's hard.
This super boss. No, that's mixing words. That doesn't count. Forget it. It's not important. So yeah.
Like it's doing a lot of the same it's doing a lot of the same things that RoboCop is, but RoboCop kept it going throughout the entire movie,
And the
yet
entire
still
trilogy.
maintained 3 kind of.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying 3 is a good movie and that it keeps up the tone and the quality of the social commentary, but
it's
it
still
always
there,
opens
definitely.
the same way. They
Yeah.
never forgot we have to keep up this fucked up future society where the media rules everything.
Yeah.
And this movie, I think one of my biggest problems with it is that we don't really get to know the enemy. And I'm not saying we have to get like these deep psychological backstories for why the aliens want to control her. No, I think that would take away from it. But we don't get enough of the rich doing stuff, I don't think. We just kind of see the fact that the poor are poor, and that every now and then the rich do something to fuck them over. Like they tear down their little Hoover town. But
They don't just tear it down. They came in there guns blazing without
Right.
even a fucking warning.
no. But Ian, do you agree with me? It's just like they don't really get enough of a face, in my opinion. There's no real. And I'm not saying this just so the movie can be even more cliched 80s action movie, but I think the movie would have been better off if it had a distinctive villain. If it had
Maybe.
an alien to rule over all the other aliens, because.
Maybe.
At that point, it's almost just like the aliens don't have enough of a personality then. They just kind of feel like rich people who look like they've been through a meat grinder. And when I was watching the movie, I felt like there was a sharp disconnect between the audience and the villains. And that makes them seem less threatening, and I think it makes you hate them less.
A little bit, because yeah, they're just there. They're more or less cannon fodder. You know?
Yeah, that was my other problem, because
they don't have a character. They're just, we want to take over, or we have taken over the world, really.
Yeah, it's not like they're trying. They did already. I mean, we don't know how widespread their control is, but
well, they said just America, to be fair.
Well, here's the thing. If we're meant to believe that everything that's the society of the 80s, all of the pop culture stuff was built by these aliens, then if we're excuse me, if we're led to believe that Nada only took down that one satellite, I'm sure that it's not really a huge dent in their plans.
Well, no, but that's the thing, is they said they'd only gotten control of America and that they were working on others during that
That ball party or something, whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Like, the guy goes through what they've been doing so you can kind of get an idea of the scope of it, so you are meant to feel like it's a little smaller. Like, it's not the entire world has been taken over, which would have been more interesting. Because
I feel like that almost makes the movie more over the top, is that this one man, this one construction worker...
You know what?
What?
I get what you're saying. This one guy can stop the entire alien invasion.
Yeah, because I don't like that, because it's like, I get it. The point of it is that this one construction worker could topple this entire freaking money-grabbing regime just by saying, I am able to punch you in the face.
Yeah. Well, like, here's the thing.
Money doesn't rule my life because I'm poor.
Yeah, you know that scene where the cops come in and shoot everybody in the resistance?
Yeah.
I almost think this movie would be much better with an Inception-style ending if it had ended right there and the main character died.
Well, he did die.
No, in that scene where no one besides this small little resistance had figured out that there were aliens controlling everything. If the main character and everyone had died right there and then went credits, that would have been a much more interesting ending, because you would have walked away from it like you did with Inception, alright, here's the thing. Inception had that ending where you don't know whether or not the top fell, so you don't know whether or not he's in a dream. And you're supposed to take that and reflect it on your own life, whether or not you are living in a dream. Alright?
I think, therefore, I am.
That's not... Actually, funny story, Descartes, who said that, and who also, made Cartesian planes. Genius. He was a lucid dreamer, and he loved to lucid dream, so much to the point that he actually did work in his dreams and would wake up and write it down, but through most of his day, he didn't really know whether or not he was awake. Anyway, so, interesting that you brought that up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, with They Live, it would have been probably a much more interesting ending, to me at least, if the aliens, or the cops rather, had come in, shot everybody in the resistance, and then presumably continued to rule the world. Because then you would have left the movie theater thinking, oh shit, are aliens actually controlling the world?
Well, I feel
mean,
like that the end of the movie has that anyway.
No, because you got this, like, triumph of now they're revealed, you know?
Ah, that's true, but... Yeah, but I almost have to think, like... They could still retaliate from that.
Yeah, I mean, they could come back, but it's never going to be the same, is the thing.
No, it's not.
There will always been because there was news broadcasts of this, and you know, everyone saw basically, and if not everyone saw, then it's going to run everywhere. I don't know. It's just like there's just
I feel like the movie's ending is not the problem. I feel like the main problem of the movie is the way it gets there. Like, I really like the last couple scenes. I especially like excuse me, where the girl and the alien guy are having sex, and she thinks that it's like her husband or whatever, and then she looks down, and then he's just this purple alien.
Yeah,
I thought that was
didn't need
really
the
cool.
tits. I thought that was a little much.
Whatever.
It felt like no. It just felt like this is an '80s movie, so tits.
I wasn't complaining. No.
Not just see that woman now, and you will. That's the thing. I bought an album to use as the prop for our opener, and I had to take the picture. Like, it was a really shitty album that they just took a picture and basically glued it onto the front of this white album cover. And it was these two girls, basically just wearing jerseys, and you could tell nothing else. Doing that was that girlfriend that stayed overnight kind of thing with them. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, it's like, one of them says Charger 67 or something, some shit like that, and I go, oh god, if I saw this woman now, oh, can you imagine?
Ian constantly ruining all his own sexual fantasies.
That's the thing, you can't overthink sex. Things get disgusting.
Can't.
Things start to get disgusting really quickly.
Yeah, that's what happened when David Cronenberg became a filmmaker, and everyone was like, oh yeah, the human body is really fucking gross.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, back to They Live. I think that because the aliens are revealed at the end, and because you get this, triumphant victory with the... Like, it even has, the epitome... The literal climax. You got Aristotle, and he talks about how the story reaches climax. This literally has a climax with an explosion on top of a tower. Not to get all Freudian and everything, but still.
Yeah.
Fast symbol. See, this. I'm doing all these catchphrase things because it's an 80s movie, and I feel like I have to do catchphrases.
Yeah, I think that ultimately is the movie's biggest problem, is that it's trying to be this extremely... I don't want to say controversial, because making fun of the media was not exactly something that this movie was unique to in the 80s, but still, you're making fun of a media that your movie has the potential to be advertised in. It's still somewhat...
Yeah.
It's still somewhat controversial, even if just a little.
Yeah.
Then you've got it bogged down with all these 80s action cliches, and it does really, really soil the experience, which... That, to me, is the sole reason why I think that this movie could be remade, and remade really well, is cut all that shit out and write a movie where the whole purpose is to just do this social commentary.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Did it seem to you like they were trying to set up a sequel with those last, like, 2 scenes with their boss?
Refresh my memory, because it's been... I didn't
when he's giving them the tour... And he's showing them all the stuff the aliens have?
No, it didn't come off as a sequel to me. It came off as really rushed exposition. An exposition that I didn't think we needed.
Well, no, I felt like they were trying to set up a sequel by showing that, like, the aliens have taken over all these different places, and they have this method of transport, and all the rich people are working for them. Stuff like that. It seemed like they were trying to set up a sequel to show that even if they win here... they're not going to be able to stop all of the aliens' plans. And, like, the boss almost comes out and says that, where he's like, they've already taken over or something like that.
So you're saying that you think like there would be a sequel where like a group of like resistance fighters went into one of these other parallel dimensions or another planet or whatever, and
No, I feel like they've already taken over the planet, and so the idea, or not the planet, the country at least. I that did feel awkward the more I think about it, where they said it's not the planet, just the country.
yeah, and it was just like it feels really limited for this super high fuck us kind of technological race. That scene did not feel like sequel fodder to me. It felt like, hey, the movie's over in 10 minutes, folks. We gotta rush out all this exposition for how the aliens did all this shit. And that really bugged me, because I was like...
see, the thing is, I didn't need the exposition of how they took over. I thought it was much more eerie when I didn't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I think they were trying to set up a sequel, or set up the ground so that they could do a sequel if they would like to.
You know what I think they were trying to do? I think they were trying to more build it into a TV series, because that's how this... I think this show... I think this movie has a premise that would be, like, more accessible to someone writing a new TV series more than a sequel.
Yeah, I'm not saying necessarily a sequel movie, but yeah, something based on this.
More stuff in this universe.
Yeah. I don't know, it seemed like that, but that actually gets me back to where I think, let's use your example of John Carpenter and his 80s action movie writer friend were switching who was typing. I feel like it got to that scene with the boss, and he has that monologue with them where he's trying to convince them to sell out, and he has that line, y'all sell out anyway, we're just doing it on a bigger scale now. We're just doing it to be on the winning side now. I do feel like that was probably one of the few times that the actual, plot returned.
Yeah, true. Or the actual social commentary came back. It was like, hey, we're trying to do something with this movie, rather than just blow shit up. And that brings me to one of my problems I was trying to get to earlier. I forgot about it. How the fuck do these two guys know how to use machine guns so well?
I don't know.
That was one of my big... It was literally bugging me while I was watching the movie. It was like, how the fuck do these guys know how to use...
It's the 80s. Everyone knows how to use machine gun in the 80s.
It would be so easy to explain, oh, they're ex-Marines, or oh, they're ex-cops or something. Well, not cops, that would be awkward, but more like ex-Marines or something. And now they've come back into the country, and it's this overrun hellhole. And now they're poor, kind of like Rambo. But no, it's just like these random construction workers know how to shoot aliens at like pinpoint accuracy. And that was the other thing that bugged me. Not only do they never miss the goddamn things, but they never get hit until the end. Until the story says it's okay for them to die. Before that, they're like the luckiest motherfuckers on the planet.
Bill, I can't really... Let me put it this way. It's a complaint that's not a complaint. Because find me an 80s movie where one of those two things is not present. Find me an 80s action movie where one of those two things are not present.
Well, what do you mean?
Find me an action movie that's one of those two things are not present.
So one of those two things where like they won't get hit and they have pinpoint accuracy?
They magically don't get hit by bullets and they...
No, Ian, that's not my point though. I have no problem with that because I'm a, I don't, that doesn't really bother me as long as there's a reason why they would know how to
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's typical. It's a cliche. So you don't complain about something that's present in everything from this genre.
My point is that for the most part, all these other members of these genres at least have some excuse that there's somewhat of a reason why they'd be able to do this. Die Hard, John McClane is a freaking cop. In Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger is an ex-commando. And Rambo, he was a Marine. That's all I needed, and I would have been totally fine with it.
I don't care. It's that, like, the magical bullet shield is one thing that's in just about every action movie ever made.
No, and that rarely bugs me in the way it does some people. It's just that usually there's a reason for it. They're military guys, they're adventurers, they're superheroes. There's always some they kind of would be able to do this, but these two, they're construction workers. I mean,
it didn't bug me because he's obviously very familiar with guns for the first time he picks it up. So like, it seemed like there's a reason that they just don't feel the need to give, because
Yeah, but
like you're saying,
one line. I used to be in the Marines. Oh,
yeah,
me
that's
too.
the thing. It's
Let's go
one line.
shoot some aliens.
It's one line that's not relevant to the story at all. Is the thing though? There's
It's not
literally,
relevant, but it leaves your audience like, how the hell did that guy know how to shoot a gun so well?
but let me say this: the way you were saying, like if they've been like soldiers that came back, that would have added a layer to the movie that would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
If they were soldiers that had been out of the country for like the last 10 years, so they left sometime in the 70s during this period of social change and came back during the 80s when it was all consumerism again, that would have been incredibly, that would have been just a vastly more interesting layer than homeless guys.
Well, they could have been homeless and had that in their past. Like, let's say 5 years they've been back. And they both kind of, let's say they're ex-war buddies, and they came back and they went their separate ways. They, you know, he went back to his family, and this guy tried to go find a job, and they split up. They both ended up poor as dirt, and then they met up again. I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on? You know, I'm homeless too. Let's go to this homeless camp together. And then the story could be relatively intact.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like the whole, you know, if they had added that, that would have been a very interesting layer. That being said, I don't think you need it because, like you said, it's one line. It's one line that has nothing to do with the story at all.
For me personally, it would have made it a much easier pill to swallow.
Dude, there are sunglasses that let you see aliens.
Yeah, but again, that's a conceit for the story. And even then, I said before, I wish there was like, oh, I'm the guy who created him. I don't need to know how he created him. I just need to know that there was a certain guy with some sort of credentials where he could be like, it would make sense if I could create these things. And there is a scientist early on who knows how to jam the alien signals. I think we're supposed to assume that he made them, but they don't say that. Again, one line. That's the guy who made the sunglasses. That's the guy who made the contact lenses. That's all I needed.
I don't know. it doesn't bug me that much because, like I said, it's just typical 80s. It's a typical 80s thing.
Yeah, and fair enough. And again, I think that that's this movie's biggest flaw, and I do think that it is a prime elective for getting remade. Like, I would love to see, like,
let me put it this way: I would like a remake of it, but I would like nearly all of the action elements cut out.
Me too. I mean,
Hello?
The marketability of the movie, since it is kind of it's not a hugely popular brand. Like, have you heard of it before I introduced it to you? Aside from that,
I'd seen the Bubblegum scene, and that was it.
Okay, so yeah. But I'm just saying, like, again, I'd be totally fine with the action movie stuff. Like, again, throw in a couple soldiers who just got back from Iraq or something like that, or from Afghanistan, and then you can have them with guns, and I have no problem with it. But I still think you could have the action elements, and there just has to be a more developed reason behind that. And I think that an audience today is going to be way less accepting of two random construction workers who can pick up a machine gun and shoot it. I just think that's the way our modern audiences have been trained. For the most part, you still have your people out there who just go to a movie and be like, oh, they can pick up guns, whatever. Explosion.
Dude, what do you mean? Everybody knows how to use guns. Duh, this is America, Bill. If you can't pick up a machine gun and kill 10 Nazis, well, then what the fuck are you even doing? You're not even American. You automatically lose your citizenship.
That wasn't on the citizenship test. I'll admit, when I was in school and we did like a fake passport stuff, you had to do like a citizenship test, and I failed.
Really?
I couldn't recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Yeah, but I can't do it unless it's being like done in rhythm with other people. Like, I can't just sit there and be like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and then I forget it.
And to the
Republic for which we...
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember. It was
if we're saying it, then it's fine.
Well, no, it's because I was thinking about it. It's because I started to think about it halfway through. I have that with the Hamlet monologue too. I can do it
fuck that. I can't.
No, I can do it at the drop of a hat. Because I had to memorize it once years ago now, and now it's just there. But when I start to think about it, I lose the words. It's weird.
But I want to bring it up quick. Don't you hate it when you're with a friend and there's some movie that you guys have both seen and you want to like quote it to be funny and you start quoting it and then the other one's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because it ruins it.
Yeah, that's
Happens to me constantly. It's just like, dude, you fucking idiot! You remember the fucking quotes. Me and my friend were both like huge Dark Knight fans, and we were just. I started quoting Joker in the hospital scene with Harvey, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "Fucking idiot."
Just like we are no longer friends. What?
Well, I say that constantly. Like, I'll have my friendships riding on entertainment and stuff. No, I'm not even kidding. Like in gym one time, I was quoting The Invisible Man, and my friend Nicola, who appears frequently on my channel, had no idea what I was talking about. And I'm like, "Have you ever seen the 1933 version of The Invisible Man?" She's like, "No," and I'm like, "You fucking, we're no longer friends." I literally walked out. She knew I was kidding, but I was like, I was secretly like, what the fuck? No, like,
You're just not a good person until you've seen this movie.
No, you're not eligible to be my friend unless you've seen The Invisible Man.
I watched it. I did not care for it that much.
You motherfucker! No, it's not.
He goes crazy like at the drop of a hat just because someone walks in his damn room.
Well, he was unstable before that.
Well, no, like, nigga, you live in a hotel. Of course they're gonna walk in your room.
Yeah, but he asked them for privacy.
I don't care. He's in a hotel, and he hasn't paid for shit, and he keeps ordering food and crap. Yeah, of course they're gonna walk in.
But whatever. Let's not argue about The Invisible Man because we have to talk about They Live. Not that we have much more to say. Is there anything else you want to specifically add that we haven't brought up yet?
We gotta keep going for a little bit here.
No, I know we do, but I'm just trying to think. Is there anything major that we can't like? There's stuff I want to go back to, but is there anything major like if we didn't cover it, we're gonna get shot by our fans who know this movie for some reason?
That's the thing. We keep doing really obscure things. You notice that?
like what? I mean, we did.
There Will Be Brawl. Name someone else that's done a podcast about a fan film.
True. We did. I don't know. We've done pretty.
Bride of Frankenstein's kind of obscure nowadays.
Well, I think more people have heard of it than more people have seen it.
Yeah.
So fair enough, but that movie is.
Reviews, Geeky Gentleman. You know, Bobby was asking me if I ever get eligible to go back to, like, if they ever do, like, a, best of who reviews the reviewers and they let other contestants try out again, if I would want to go back. And I'm like, no, but I would totally be willing to try Geeky Gentleman on who reviews the reviewers. Wouldn't that be it? Because that's the one thing that kind of bugs me. No one's done it. No one's done a pair or group review entry for that show.
If they'd allow that, because then they have to split up the prize money and shit.
No, but it's totally allowable because guess what? There are tons of reviews that are like one or two people, or more.
Yeah. No, we should.
It's a normal show.
Kind of like a Who Reviews the Reviewers All-Star season.
Yeah, we should totally do it. That should be the next season. Just anyone that's been on the contest before can try out again, and will come on all
Take
three.
note, Captain Logan.
Who
he's
does
gonna
not
be here.
watch these videos?
He's gonna be here next week, so.
Oh
like,
shit!
dude.
Why'd you... Bill! Damn it!
I'll edit that part out.
No. Damn it, Bill.
I didn't know. Oh, you wanted it to be a surprise.
Yes, I did.
Edit that part out then if you want it so bad.
No, because that would feel unnatural.
We haven't been having a natural conversation for 10 minutes.
No, this is totally a natural conversation because normal conversations get sidetracked. That's
Dude,
what's...
Just do me a favor, cut it. I apologize. Cut it out, please.
No, we won't cut it out because no one's...
Damn it!
No one's paying attention.
No one's watching at this point. We're just fucking rambling now.
Like close to an hour in. Anyone that's watching deserves the spoiler.
If you made it to this point and you haven't like lost interest in our, I think we literally spent 35 minutes reviewing They Live. If you're still watching, leave a comment. Just just let us know you're there because we feel lonely.
Leave a comment with your favorite action movie catchphrase.
Yeah, indeed.
Let's just spend a couple minutes talking to the viewers. Hey, viewers, how's it going?
Yeah, how you guys liking the weather?
Are you eating some food while watching us? Because
it sounds good.
Try to creep you out. Let's get like very specific and see if I ever get this right. So if you were sitting there eating a piece of pizza in your living room while listening to Geeky Gentlemen, and you're on the couch with your feet up on the ottoman listening to us while also checking your email or texting somebody, leave a comment saying, where the fuck is the camera in my house?
Okay. If you're sitting up in your bedroom and you're sitting in the middle of your bed like I do, and you're watching Geeky Gentleman on a laptop, and you're having a bowl of Frosted Flakes, and on your TV is also a paused movie on Netflix, because god damn it, you gotta see the new episode of Geeky Gentleman now. Fuck Kevin Smith. Then leave a comment.
Okay, so yours is just implausible.
Yeah, Ian, and then watch it happen. Then you owe me another commentary on a movie you hate.
No, I'm not. See, the problem with that was, it's really hard to do a commentary alone.
Well, I was actually going to offer you to do it with you, but I was like, fuck this.
No, because
better things to do.
I would never want to do that to a person. Like, the thing is, if you'd lost the bet, it would have been legitimately funny, because it could have been just like a 5-minute video, and you would have been fine. But me, it's like a 2.5-hour movie.
I know, I was thinking, I was like, wow, he got the shitty end of that stick.
That and I still should have won, because that was ridiculous.
Oh, shut up.
No, it's just, they broke their own rules, just parts of that.
How'd they break their own rules?
Like, if you've watched other episodes, they've posted, like, the requirements for a death battle at the end, and it always says that the opponents are aware of each other. And in this, they were obviously aware of each other, and as far as I know, it's pretty well known that Superman's solar powered, even to the other random.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair, but still, even if Goku knew.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and I still say Superman.
Once Superman is in space, Goku can't do shit because Goku can't breathe in space.
Yeah, and that was weird. They broke that rule too. Like, they specifically mentioned it several times.
Well, he got up into the upper, like, he didn't actually go into space, like, it was kind of the upper stratosphere.
Still. Then Superman can fight. Superman cannot fight. I don't care. He knows Kryptonian Jiu-Jitsu, and Batman taught him to No, just shut up. He doesn't know how to fight.
Even if it's in a comic, I want to ignore it.
No, it's not in a comic. It's they say it and then they completely ignore it. Every writer, after like one writer goes, you know what, Superman needs to learn how to fight. I'm gonna say he knows how to fight, and then no other writer ever picks up on it again. Is the thing until they need it. Watch Superman in animation. He has no idea how to fight. Anytime Superman loses his powers, no idea how to fight.
Yeah, but they still made a great, really well thought out, in my opinion, point on Goku is a man who has limits, and the point of his story is to see him overcome those limits. Superman is a man who has no real limits, but the point of him is to seeing if someone can live up to those limits. Or those.
Yeah,
or those
and I do like that point, but I still say that Goku should have won because he actually knows how to fight. And he's on a full power.
Dude, at the end of the day, despite being an alien like Superman is, Goku is still just a dude. He could have his arm ripped off. Superman really can't.
I agree with that, and I knew there were going to be problems. That's why it's such a good fight, is because there's so many factors to it. It seems like this easily could have gone the other way.
Yeah, for sure.
We got to get back to They Live.
I know we're way off track now, but again.
Well, no, it connects because fighting and action. And
you're really backpedaling.
I am Stretch Armstrong.
You're really backpedaling here, bro.
I'm kidding.
So, would you watch it again?
Probably not, unless if I was proving a point with it, maybe. But I can't imagine just going, you know what I want to watch again? They Live.
What kind of point would you be proving?
Just that you can do, I don't know. I've done that before where I've okay. to prove my point about I've used movies to prove points, or at least scenes from movies, Plato argued that you have the idea of forms.
Oh, okay, all right. So
Well, no, like let me go all the way through this, okay?
Fine.
Because otherwise, this isn't gonna make any sense. Plato argued that we all have these forms that exist external from the human mind, and they're physical. They're not physical objects, but they are not ideas. They are something else entirely, and that's why everyone has the idea of a circle, yet there exists no perfect circle. All right. Everyone has the idea of a chair, and that's why we're able to identify so many different things as chairs, okay? Until you get to something like Sleuth with Michael Caine that came out in 2007, I'm going to say. Because in that movie, he's got a very, modern art style house, and he's walking around, and you see this thing in the background several points in the movie. And then later in the movie, you see him sitting on it, and you go, oh my god, that's a chair. I thought it was a sculpture, but it's a chair. So that's my way of arguing against Plato, is that there are no forms. Because as soon as you see something that isn't immediately recognizable, you don't realize what it is. So, yes, I've used movies, or at least scenes from movies, to argue as to why some other point can be made. And I'm sure that this does have interesting parts to it that I could totally use in some kind of argument, I believe.
Yeah, because the social commentary is pretty interesting. It's not entirely followed through, as we talked about, but it is really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
I think that as well is a really good reason for this movie to be remade, because I almost think it's more relevant now. I'm not saying that the movie was ahead of its time, because it feels like an 80s movie. It feels like it's riffing on 80s pop culture. I still think, though, that the idea of the movie can carry over to present day and almost work better.
I'd agree with you, because the thing is, if they hadn't shown the TVs in that movie, the quality is still pretty good. If they hadn't shown the TVs, a lot of that movie really could take place modern day.
The makeup, though, it's not. That's one of my problems with the movie, is the makeup is extremely basic, but also extremely plastic looking.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, like, as far as the setting and how everything's working, because they don't make a ton of direct 80s references.
Yeah, I don't think they should, because it's not necessarily supposed to be our world. It's supposed to be kind of a pseudo representation of our world. It's not necessarily supposed to be the world you're living in right now is all run by aliens, not necessarily. But yeah, I'm with you, and I think that's a good thing to keep the movie somewhat timeless, because I think it's a timeless sort of message. The government is controlling you, or the higher ups are ruling you, and you are willingly submissive to it, even if you're actually not. Like, you're not aware that you're willingly submissive to it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And that's, we started talking about Descartes, and that's actually not a half bad thing to get back to for a second. So whenever you're done with what you're about to say, I'm gonna bring Descartes back up.
And once more, I have totally forgot where I was going with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll try and backpedal my thoughts and try and get back to it. So basically what I was saying is I think that at the end of the day, this movie's message is overarching umbrella. There is something behind the media that you consume. That you love consuming that media, but it's destroying you. It's taking away your freedom. But the higher-ups will say, who cares? You love to consume our media. You love to be submissive to our media. It's kind of like what Loki says in Avengers. You were made to be ruled. And
I don't know. His whole motivations in that were so.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the movie. I'm not talking about it. I'm just talking about that's what Loki was saying.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and that's present in this film as well. And I just feel like that the whole idea is that they're gonna rule us by giving us what we want, but we're gonna consume it and pay them money for it, and we need them to get that. It's almost like a drug dealer, druggie situation.
Yeah.
Like we need them to survive. even like we think we do, even though we don't necessarily have to. And also, I feel like they can use that to destroy us. And I think that's brought up in the film as well, is that they never have to fire a single shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can get you to destroy each other. And if at any point they got sick of the human race and we're just like, we want the entire planet to be populated by our race, let's just put out some campaign that's like, oh, kill these people or kill those people or hate those people using the news, because we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a scary idea, and I think for the most part the movie does a pretty good job of conveying it. I still think that the movie is worth being remade, though. So
yeah, I agree. It deserves a remake that doesn't... Like, you can still have a couple action scenes, because, like, I feel like the killing of the aliens is really important to the plot, just not the way they... I think they didn't do it right.
Yeah, I agree.
That being said, I wanted to get into Descartes a little bit. Descartes had what I call hyperbolic doubt. Mm-hmm. Hyperbolic... Can you say the word for me, please? Because apparently it's not coming out of my mouth correctly.
Hyperbolic?
Yes, thank you. Hyperbolic doubt. Where he just doubted everything to the point of madness. Where it's just like, the things that you just should not even doubt because you just know them already, he started to doubt. And he got to the point where it's like, what if 2 + 2 isn't 4? What if some demon has just tricked me into thinking that? You know, it's just... And that's where he got to the point of, I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. And one of the things that is used to help get to that point nowadays without doubting whether 2 + 2 is 4 is, imagine if you lived in a world where everything you'd been told was a lie. And that's kind of what this movie's doing.
Yeah.
Imagine if you like that feeling you would get. It's a very existential, very, very, you know, what's the word I want? Revelation kind of movie. There's
world
German.
shattering.
Yes, there's a German word for it too. Germans have good words, not gonna lie. Anyway,
even though their language sounds like one long demon prayer.
Well, the thing is, German doesn't quite sound like German unless you're yelling it.
True, and I am German, so I should know.
No, just the thing is, the way Descartes explained nowadays a lot is, imagine you lived in a world where everything you knew was not true. Everything you knew was a lie. And that's very much what's going on here. He has that moment where he's like, he just cannot, he's in shock about what's going on once he puts on the sunglasses, because it's just this ultimate reveal, this aletheia. There's the word. There's another word. It's not German. This is Greek, and it's the Greek for truth, but the direct translation is a revealing of, an uncovering of. That is what's happening here. It's aletheia. It's like the veil has been lifted as he puts on the sunglasses, and just everything is revealed to him in this one moment. And it works so surprisingly well, and it gets into Descartes with the whole, you know, what if everything you knew was a lie? And that's right. Also, Inception works on a lot of these same levels. Mm-hmm. It's very existential. It's very disorienting. It's very anti-conformist.
For
Conform
sure.
was one of the signs, and it works really, really well. I'm having trouble getting at exactly what I want to say.
I hate that. It's like you think, oh, I have this really great point I want to make, but I can't get to it.
So like I said, it's got elements of Descartes in it, and the other movie that uses Descartes in the same way very directly is The Matrix.
Dark City as well.
Dark City.
I haven't seen. I'll admit, I actually haven't seen it myself, but I know the premise, and it's a very they live kind of idea.
Yes. Dark City, is that the one where they're? Yes, if it's the movie I'm thinking of, yes, very much so. I'm trying to think of popular movies to get people in the same mindset here.
Well, that's one of David Goyer's first movies, so it's pretty popular.
Is that why it looked so much like Batman Begins? No, seriously, it really does. It looks kind of like... Alright, it looks like if we'd skipped Joel Schumacher, somewhere along the line, it's like Tim Burton's Batman and Nolan's Batman kind of blended together to make Dark City.
And this horrible love child.
Yeah, it looks, just the visual aesthetic is very similar. But anyway, Matrix gets at it. They Live definitely gets at that same thing of just the feeling you get when you realize that everything you know is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very profound and interesting idea.
Yeah, and I think
that they spend a criminally low amount of time on in this film.
Yeah, and that's one of the movie's biggest problems. So I think another interesting idea that the film does get at a little bit, excuse me, is, yeah, you found out the truth. Do you care? Live in this lie. You know, you can profit from it with the ending. And it's just like, I think the question once you found out the truth is, did you want to find out the truth? And now that you know it, do you want to accept it and make the truth your new life? Or do you want to live the lie because you found the lie more satisfying? You want to be safe in the lie rather than risk ruining what you have to seek the truth.
You know, I almost wish we didn't just do They Live here. I almost wish we did this video as a contrast to, like, if we'd taken this movie and Inception and compared them, I think that would have been a, like, because we brought up, I keep bringing it up, Inception. It's very much got a lot of the same elements, just executed much better.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Nolan, so Nolan would actually do this movie not half bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's trying to get away from action movies a little bit.
Well, Dark Knight Rises, that's probably fair. Why don't we get into that? Who would you, if you had to, let's say you're sitting at one of the heads of the big studios, and you're like, I have to find someone to make Universal is the one who owns the property, so you have to pick a director to direct the new They Live movie. Who do you pick?
See, I don't know a lot of directors off the top of my head. This is something Kubrick would have loved, I'll tell you that. But directors who are around now...
Fincher, maybe?
What's the name of the guy that did Moon?
Oh, shit. I'm gonna look it up, because that wouldn't be half bad. I love Moon.
M. Night Shyamalan, at his best, probably could have done this pretty well.
No, because he would have emphasized the girl thing so very much that it would have distracted from the rest of the movie. Duncan Jones directed Moon. Maybe. I don't know though. I don't think Shyamalan's got it in. I don't think Shyamalan has it in him anymore. Maybe right after The Sixth Sense. Maybe.
You watched Happening? Did you see it at all?
No, but I've heard it's like the worst movie ever.
Well, the thing is, he tried to get away from the twist thing, and he really did, because they establish what's going on as a rumor about 20-30 minutes into the movie, and then people are like, well, they already said that, so it wasn't a twist. Well, yeah, it's not supposed to be a twist. It's supposed to be a horrifying movie in which all these people keep killing themselves, and there's nothing anyone can do. That being said, it's like, there was elements... I like the directorial style in that, but the script could have been tighter. I think Shyamalan could direct it well if he's not the one writing the script.
Well, I'll say mine. I think that maybe Duncan, just based on Moon, I think, because Duncan Jones also wrote the script for Moon, so I think that he would be a prime candidate. I'm trying to think who else. I said before, I said kind of under your voice, David Fincher, but thinking about that now, I think he would take the whole discovering that and like the surreality of it and run with it too far, where it's like it gets away from some of the stuff that makes the original kind of charming. That being said, I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know, maybe Peter Jackson could pull it off.
I don't really care for Jackson personally.
Really?
Kong was okay. I never liked Lord of the Rings, and I just lost like 20 people subscribing to my channel.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're dead in the water for a lot of people now. I really like Peter Jackson, and I think that this would be an interesting directorial thing for him to do. I'm not sure he's the best guy for the job, and It's funny. I don't have a great answer to my own question here. I think I just saw Django Unchained today, and I think Tarantino might be able to pull this off too.
He would, but there'd be so much weird dialogue.
Yeah, but I think that would work with it because he'd be able to take the idea of this pseudo representation of our world, and he'd really be able to bring the world to life, in my opinion. And really, I think the strange dialogue would accentuate it.
Well, the thing about Tarantino is there's one element of all his movies that would work really well, and that's that when Tarantino is making a movie, these people are living their normal everyday lives, and then something just happens that's very, very strange. So yes, that element could work for it very well, because there's that, just normal everyday things going on, and then wrench into the gears, and suddenly they have to react to it and get through this situation.
I also think that he would be able to bring maybe just a sliver of some of the over the top stuff that made the original a little bit charming, just a little bit, just to still keep it They Live.
I agree, because he does over the top very well, but that being said, Tarantino's pretty much announced he's only got a couple movies left before he's retiring, which makes me sad.
Yeah. God damn it, Django Unchained was awesome.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Oh, dude, it is. You will not be disappointed. It is a fucking BA movie.
I heard it's like Inglourious Bastards, but the American version.
It's Inglourious Bastards perfected, because I didn't love Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I did. It was great.
I thought that movie, everything that movie did right, Django Unchained does better, and then adds in really cool action scenes.
Okay.
So I think that it's Inglourious Bastards done right. Anyway, we're getting off track again. So yeah, I think that
there's a track.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a broken track, but it's still there.
It's like the guy that was making the track just decided, you know what this train track needs? Bends. And he just
But then he kind of got lazy and was like, we don't need all these fucking metal parts. Let's just the train will be fine. Leave a few out. So it kind of rickets a little bit, and you get off track a little bit more, and then finally you're just off the tracks and you're derailed.
But somehow you manage to get back on, it's like the conductor's somehow managing to turn the train, which isn't physically possible, but I'm gonna say it.
You've got jetpacks in the bottom, on the side of the train car, so it just picks itself back up.
What were we talking about again?
I think we were talking about They Live. I'm not sure. I kind of think we've
Dude, I just want to draw a train with rockets on the back that lets it go off the track and swerve around a little bit.
There is a transformer called Astro Train that turns into a giant train plane. So
what isn't cool about that?
I know, right? It's like the fucking coolest idea ever. It's a flying train.
Alright, there's only one other thing I wanted to really talk about, because I really liked it, and I just want to mention it a little bit before we close out here. Like I said at the beginning, or when we were talking about it when it first came up, and I felt like it was horribly underused, was when you got the one glimpse of the money, and instead of, George Washington's face or anything, it said, "This is your God."
Yeah.
I just loved that because it was so shockingly accurate. The thing I didn't like about all the posters and everything was that they all, after a while, said the exact same thing over and over again.
Yeah, you sleep, obey.
Yeah, I would have preferred if obey should have been around a lot, but for the most part, I would have loved it if everything was slightly different wording but got to the same point, or everything was just completely different with all these different messages coming at you. I'm gonna find a picture, talk for a minute about that, Bill.
Sure. If you haven't seen the movie, basically what Ian's talking about is in the movie, when he puts on the sunglasses, all the images of posters and magazines and money and movies and the news all go away, and it just says a really simple subliminal message like, obey, buy this, reproduce, get married, spend your money on blah blah blah. Just a really blatant subliminal message. And the movie is pretty consistent about what it strips down and what it shows when everything gets stripped down. Posters usually say the same thing: obey, sleep. Magazines will generally say, like, if you flip through a magazine, all the different ads will say something maybe specific. But I agree with Ian's point that, like, there's this one scene where Nada's flipping through a magazine, and after like 5 pages, it starts to repeat.
Mm-hmm. All right, here I found the image I wanted. This is a desktop, and it was something that got really big after the whole Occupy Wall Street things took off. And in the picture, there's a guy wearing a Guy Fawkes mask, but behind him looks like it's spray painted onto a brick wall. It says, "Go to work, get married, have some kids, pay your taxes, pay your bills, watch your TV, follow fashion, act normal, obey the law, and repeat after me. I am free." I really like that. That's all you need. You just need, like, go to work, get married, stuff like that. It has get married, reproduce, stuff like that. But just, it would have worked a lot better if they'd either worded things differently, or if it'd just been very, very shockingly all these different commands, just overload of commands. I would have loved.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like, because it feels like they couldn't think of anything else to say, or that they didn't have the budget for it, or whatever.
I don't know if it could have just been laziness, just like, oh, I think we've run out of subliminal messages, let's just repeat them. And it's not really a huge problem. I just think that, I'm with you, it would have been more creative and more interesting and more relevant.
But that being said, the one I liked the most was "This is your God," because that it gets to so much about what money is. Because this freaks people out when you say it, but guess what? Money has no value.
It's just paper.
Exactly. No one gets that ever.
Yep.
It's
the only value money has is what you say it is, or what the government says it is.
Exactly, and it's people get so shocked when you tell them.
Yeah,
that.
it's like,
no,
did you not realize that? I mean,
it's like this weird game that people play, but no one says the rules. Everyone just kind of knows them.
Yeah, and when you say them, it's like, shut up, you're being controversial. Because controversy is scary, and I want no part of it. That being said, I'm not one of those people who's like, because money is just a piece of paper, therefore I don't respect it. I mean, I'm one of the people who's like, money has value because I say it does, and because everyone accepts it does, therefore I follow that. If it didn't, we'd live in chaos. So I accept that this piece of paper represents something, and then it's more of like it's just, I feel that I'm putting value to that money.
Yeah. I agree with that, and it's something worth bringing up.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
It reminds me, I was in a class and we were talking Heidegger. God. But the professor says he's going through all the things that normal people don't like to think about, and he goes, "And one day all of you are gonna die. I hope you all knew that. All of you are gonna die one day." And I just go, "What?"
I'm not immortal. I thought I was a fucking Highlander.
No, just that needs to be on our list too.
Highlander.
Yeah.
If they ever do, they've been talking for years about remaking Highlander. If it ever actually fucking happens, that has to be a scene where, like, he's in a philosophy class. He's just like, 5 things that's gonna happen, but everyone denies. You're gonna fucking die, and then the Highlander starts laughing.
Not me.
I'm Christopher Lambert, and I am never going to die.
No, it's one of those things. I always love that memory, just because I made him lose face. He was being so serious up in front of the class. You know what? You know that, right? One day, all of you are gonna die. What? It's like when I'm at work and I hear people say, "I remember when I found out there was no Santa Claus." What?
You ruined my life. I hate you.
It's fun to do.
It's fun to ruin people's lives.
Well, we're talking philosophy, so I think that's a pretty good place to wrap up and actually transition into our closer real quick. So next week on Geeky Gentlemen, we're going to do a special episode. I'm assuming you've already heard the reveal, and if not, then there is a reveal somewhere in this video, but I'm not going to repeat it. Anyway, we're doing a special episode, and we'll be talking about the death of the author. And for those that don't know, that's basically whether or not author intent or biography weighs on the work. And we're not talking just novel here, we're talking any work of fiction, and some works of, literature. Or not literature, but some works of, academic writing, too. We'll get into that a little bit. But mostly fiction, because that's where it really matters the most.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about that. It's probably going to be one of our longer videos, because I have a lot to say on this, and I think we're going to butt heads a lot here. Anyway. Also, Skype-ins, still taking them. Add me on Skype, Sid Part 2. Send me a PM with the download link for the file. 1 to 2 minutes. And on the topic of whether or not the author is dead, pretty good thing to get in, and I'd like that. And Milan has offered to draw you if you are the first person to Skype in. Bill, why don't you take us out today?
Sure. Watch out for those aliens, folks. Because they live. And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.